Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, we're not in like the filming space because today I have a little transition life update for you. So as many of you know, I've kind of been like slowly documenting my process of being non-binary and transitioning as someone who's non-binary. So I started HRT earlier this year, and I've just been doing some other stuff to try and help my outside reflect my inside and also lead my life more authentically. And I have a really exciting update today for everyone, which is that I have finally legally changed my name. Wow, it's actually like really emotional to be saying that out loud right now. God, just got like a little chill. I've been talking about changing my name for probably almost a decade, possibly even longer. Yeah, even longer, because I've wanted to change my name since I was in high school. And it's always something I thought about doing, and then I looked into the process, and it was a little intimidating. And life stuff happened. I was moving around. I was getting my piercing apprenticeship. I was getting into the industry. I was just very busy. I didn't feel like I had the time. And when I finally did have the time, I was living in a state where it wasn't really the safest for queer people to get a name change, especially not if you're getting a name change as part of your transition. But now I'm living in Pennsylvania, and it's not like it's safer, it's safer than when I was in Tennessee. But yeah, so I got all my paperwork. I have my new like social security card. I got my new license with my new name on it. And I'm just now waiting for like the last of my credit cards to come in with my name on it. And it like doesn't even feel real. But the response when I told folks that I was legally changing my name has primarily been, oh my God, you're gonna change your name. I totally support you. I mean, whatever you want to do, but like you're not gonna try a new name out first. Like you're just changing it. Like what are you changing it to? And then I tell everyone, oh, well, I'm legally changing my name to Lynn. And then everyone goes, oh, oh. Oh. So yes, the cat is out of the bag. Lynn is not my name. But now it is. Now it legally is. Now it's actually Lynn Lohide on my ID and on my credit cards and on all of my documents. And actually, cooler than that, because I got to pick, you're changing your name, so you get to do the whole thing over. So I decided I wanted to do a new middle name as well, because, I used to have a middle name, so I wanted to still have one. And per my best friend Margot's suggestion, I decided to go with Opal because it's one of my favorite gemstones and it's also my birthstone. I'm an October baby. But it also makes my initials LOL. And I just think that that's really cute. Along with getting my name changed, I did also get my gender marker changed. And that was a little bit of an experience. The whole thing has kind of been a little bit of an experience. I'm very fortunate enough that the Mazzoni Center in Philadelphia helps host a trans legal name change clinic. I think like at least once a year, if not more. And there are a bunch of lawyers who volunteer pro bono to work with the clinic to help trans folks change their names. And not only that, but help them change their names safely. So the reason why I didn't change my name when I was living in Tennessee is you have to announce publicly, a lot of times it's in like local newspapers or online, that you are changing your name, and when you file for your petition you have to say why. And in Tennessee all of that information is super public, and there were a couple not so great lawyers who would go through and pull all the name change petitions for people who were trans or queer or non-binary and like publish those online, and people were getting doxxed, and it was just not great. But here in Pennsylvania, through the Mazzoni Center's clinic, the lawyers can work to do a sealed name change where you don't have to publish all of that stuff publicly saying that like you're changing your name and transitioning, because it would put you at risk. So it allows you to do that sort of privately with the court and a little bit safer. And I can't speak highly enough about my experience with the Mazzoni Center Name Change Clinic. If you are in Philadelphia, or even just the surrounding areas and you need help changing your name, like absolutely follow them on social media and watch for when they're doing the next clinic, because my whole experience has been phenomenal. They helped make it a really, really easy experience for me and really helped with a lot of the stuff that I was really scared and stressed about when it came to changing my name. But I gotta say, like, despite the fact that I've been going by Lynn, like, literally since high school, like, this has been my chosen name for such an incredibly long time, there is something that feels very new about it, seeing it, like, on my ID and on my cards. Like, I really didn't think I was gonna get so emotional, because in my brain I was like, oh, but I've been Lynn for, like, so long, so now I'm just Lynn on paper. And I went in and I updated it at my bank, and the very next morning, I opened up my app to, like, check my checking account and make some purchases, and it said, "Good morning, Lynn," instead of what it used to say. And I, like, honestly, like, had to stop in my car and, like, I cried a little bit because I was so emotional, like, seeing that name there. And there really is something so powerful in a name and in being able to choose your own name and to just see it there on all of those official documents. And I know there are people out there who are like, oh, like, you're the name that you choose, and, like, they're just government documents, and I get it. People try and argue that, like, we should be able to go by our whatever. It's felt really, really good to see my name that way on those documents. To know I never need to hand someone my ID or my credit card and have someone say my old name out loud and have those really difficult interactions in public that have become increasingly more difficult over the last couple of years. Years ago, I like kind of dealt with it, but as time has gone on and I've been Lynn for longer and longer, it became, like, pretty stressful when I would have to hand people my ID and be like, please don't say it out loud, please don't say it out loud, please don't say it out loud. But now I'm just Lynn. Now I just don't have to worry about that. I'm just Lynn on all the things. And, I don't know that I have, like, any earth-shattering takes or, like, groundbreaking new views on, like, changing your name or anything to necessarily share with you. And I don't even have a whole bunch of advice on going through the process, because honestly, the Mazzoni Clinic did a lot of the work for me, and they made it really, really easy, and they sent me guides for everything, and they've been phenomenal. But I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk about this, because I know, as someone who is non-binary, I don't see a lot of other non-binary folks, like, changing their name. I mean, I see some people I know, like, in my life doing that, but again, I don't see it, like, documented and talked about as often. And for me, that was something else that I struggled with. I remember, I mean, I've been going by Lynn again since high school, and for a very long time I was like, oh, like, my old name isn't my dead name though, because I'm not trans, like, I'm not transitioning, like, I'm just non-binary, like. And I would almost make myself feel guilty when I would, like, go to the doctor's office and they'd say my dead name, and I would just feel bad. I would just feel weird, and in my brain I would be like, but I don't deserve to feel this way, like, I'm not trans, like, it's okay that they call me that name. And it's taken, for me, like, seeing that representation online, seeing non-binary folks who are trans, who are transitioning, who are changing their name and doing that stuff, to show me and help me feel that I have the agency to do that as well, that I also can change my name, that I can feel discomfort and dysphoria about my old name, that it's not my old name, that it is my dead name, and I'm allowed to say that. But I think it comes from a place of, like, trying to live by my ethics and morals, where I see the struggles that other trans people go through, especially trans women, especially trans people of color, and I say to myself, those are not my struggles. Those are not the struggles that I experience. I do not need to center myself in these conversations. Oh, my neighbor's dog is barking. I do not need to center myself in these conversations. I do not want to take away from these other people's lived experiences. And I'm very aware of the space that I'm able to occupy, and very aware of trying not to occupy that space if it's not mine. And I think sometimes that can mesh with our own internalized struggles with transphobia and homophobia and sexism, and lead us to just really doubt ourselves and doubt our own validity. It's things like that that made me feel like I wasn't non-binary enough, I wasn't trans enough to change my name, to change my gender marker, to go on hormones. Even though these were all things that I wanted, that I was interested in, I felt like I couldn't do it. I felt like I wasn't enough. And it wasn't until seeing that healthy representation online that I realized, like, I can do these things, especially if they're what feels right for me, that I am enough. And yeah, that's kind of why, I want to share my journey and sit down and keep sharing these things and these experiences with y'all. And just kind of hopefully, even if just one other person watches this and it helps them feel like they are enough and they can do these things too, then that's perfect. Then that's all I could ask for. But yeah, I can't believe my name is actually finally legally Lynn. Like, I've been working on this name change since March. I've had my new ID for like a month and a half now, and it still doesn't feel real. I really thought I was going to sit down and be so much more composed making this video, and I'm not. I'm like still giddy and emotional, and it doesn't really feel real, and I still feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and look at my ID and it's going to be my dead name, and I didn't expect the name change process to be as emotional for me as it was, especially because I'd been going by this name for so long. I thought it would just be, I just change it and be like, oh, cool, like that's done, check it off my list. But it actually has been a really emotional process. And one thing that I don't think I'm quite ready to talk about in this video, but maybe if there's interest, I'll try and talk about it in a future video, is grieving my dead name. And it's not that I'm sad to be separated from it or I miss it. My dead name did cause me a lot of distress when I heard it, and it just reminded me of a person who I am not and never really was in the first place. But there is, for me anyway, still a level of grief in like finally fully abandoning that dead name and saying goodbye to it and just being rid of it in such a permanent way. And I don't know that I've done the processing myself yet to really talk about this with y'all in a very informed or eloquent way, but I just want to take a moment in this video to say that if you are someone who is changing your name and you don't feel just 100% excited about your new name, and you do feel a bit of grief or sadness about your old name, about your dead name, that's okay. And you are not alone in feeling that way. But that is something that I'm going to work on processing myself over the next while, and maybe I'll circle back around and make a follow-up video if people want, once I have processed with some of my own experience processing that and dealing with those emotions. But yeah, this was just a little update on my progress. I don't have an HRT update this video. There has not been that much change between last time and this time, but I'm hoping to have some more HRT updates for you as things continue and time moves on and changes continue happening. But once again, just thank you all so much for being here and being a part of this journey and this transition. It really doesn't feel like I'm doing this alone for a multitude of reasons, but a big part being sharing in this journey with y'all. So thank you for being there. As always, it is awesome to sit down and chat, and I'm sure we'll sit down and talk again soon, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Sincerely yours from Lynn, officially Lynn, Opal Lowhide. Bye.